we're trying to record, and kind of like the other day when Molly came up and started screaming at
What is
me,
going on out here?
victimizing me pretty much. Now the cats are like knocking down boxes, running around the house, acting absolutely a fool to where
I
their
did
dad
not
had to go
see
check
what
on
she
them.
knocked over.
You don't see it?
I don't know what's going on, what they're doing. But Roxy was in there, and then Molly was on the back thing, and she just winks at me. So I don't know what they're knocking over. So
We'll check it out, kitties.
yeah, so let's go finish.
It's probably just their fatty butts.
Yeah, jumping in and out of them boxes.
Anyways, Mark's finally back because he had to go check on his daughters because they're destroying everything, like per use.
Per
use. Hey everybody, welcome into Folklore and Flourish. You're here with Jane and Mark on July 18th. It is July 18th, meaning we're still in week 3 of our Gods and Titans month. So July is all about the Gods and Titans. So check out all the different videos that we've posted within Folklore and Flourish every day from July 15th up to today has been all about chaos and cosmos. So for week 3. So week 3 is all about chaos and cosmos. Yesterday we had some creation fights and we had some chaos deities. Today we have the fallen gods. So a little bit more of the chaos deities in different forms. So we have the fallen gods today, and our theme is power lost. So power lost in our lesson is that even gods fall. Okay. So it's not.
Which stories are they? Because I didn't hear. We kind of.
You heard one of them, and I'm going to get to that. But
Okay.
the lesson, like even gods fall, is kind of, it's meaning that it's kind of I think that was like a major wake up to humanity. Like, I think it was meant for us, humans to see they aren't the divine source.
Yeah.
They may come from a source, they may be closer to the source in origin than us,
Or
but
just different abilities.
yeah, and they are capable of falling because they are not perfect either.
Right.
So that's kind of what we see today. And so with the 4 stories, we get Greek, Norse, Mayan, and Hindu stories today. So remember I was telling you the Norse story, the one where Loki's getting punished and his wife is there holding the holding the bowl over him the whole time.
Right.
And then it's just a few seconds that
She has
so
to
like
empty it.
she's like, imagine like for however long
Just that was
in
torture
this
for her.
and it's like venom. So you're staying there because the alternative is that they're getting burned, and it's like just turning and dumping it. And then
That's love, though.
well, not just love, but that's devotion.
Yeah.
Like that loyalty and devotion that she was still there after, his behavior caused the sons to die too. So the sons to be used as forms of chains, remember? So we had that. The Greek one is Prometheus. So I remember when we were talking about that story, just thinking about, because we had a little bit of a side conversation about that story of imagine knowingly walking into a situation where the outcome is eternal punishment.
Yeah.
And you are willingly going into that knowing that it's worth it. And at the end, maybe you didn't know that, but at the end, you're there, you're getting punished. It's happening every day, but it was worth it still. And they kind of show that with Prometheus because there was no going back from that. That's kind of the thing with like knowledge and how there's this big talk about disclosure coming up, right? And then Hollywood puts out the disclosure day, and it's not like, oh, what a coincidence. No, it was made for a while before it's dropped, So they hear the stuff when it's starting too.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, he was asked to do that movie. Like,
oh, I didn't know that.
Spielberg got brought.
Oh, that's right. It was Spielberg.
Yeah,
okay.
he got brought to the White House and was asked to make that movie.
Why?
As far as I know. Because they're doing the disclosure.
Because it's another test. It's like
well, no, they're like dropping all the information right now. So I think what they're doing is they're truly trying to get ahead of it, because I think they have their agendas behind it. But I think there's also the people that are just like, we've had enough. This is the truth. We know it's the truth. Put it out because we're over it. And a lot of it has to do with the people that are in Congress that are finally being like, no, we are supposed to be in charge. And for why are we not? Because we are the people type of
Right.
thing that's going on right now. So with that, and that's why a lot of it's coming out because they're like, no, you actually need to show us this.
Like the
You're
freedom
breaking
of
the law.
information, whatever.
Pretty much they're breaking the law. And so
I've
that's
noticed
why.
a lot of people are doing that. Well, not a lot of people, just like in our town, I've noticed a lot of, well, it's public record. Go find it. Go look it up. And then you go to the website and it's like not working. The paper's not able for you to download. You have to get a zip file and you have to go. And it's just like now everywhere legally is saying, well, it's on there. It's public knowledge. You just have to find it,
Mhm.
but it's out there. But then
Makes it
everywhere
hard.
you look, it's shut down.
Yeah.
There's a virus attached. Now you're flagged, all these different ways to just get people to give up. It's
Mhm.
like insurance, how you hear that insurance is a scam.
Right.
Because how much money do you put in? How much does it actually help when shit hits the fan?
Right.
Excuse my language, but so
I mean,
there's
that's
another form.
technically got your tail, Molly.
What are you talking about? Anyways, our other two stories though, the Mayan is the seven Macaw defeated. I hadn't heard that story before, so we'll let
Mm,
the people hear it before, I share any of my opinions on that one. And then the other one is Indra humbled. So we get to see in Hindu. But anyways, there's a number of different perspectives you can take. Like I said, we're here with the fallen gods, just showing that, it doesn't have to be gods either. Even leaders fall. Even brothers, sisters, parents, people we look up to fall,
mm,
whatever it may be. Kind of was talking about that the other day of when you find things out, when you gain knowledge, when you've been given or you gained it by whatever means necessary and you can't go back. So, you hear the scuttlebug about people and then you have a discussion with them. You
mhm.
hear their side of things. Sometimes it changes your mind on them, right? Because now you're faced with that. Other times, though, that knowledge takes those people on the pedestal and changes a lot of your kind of belief system, the things that you do, because it's not, oh, I believed in this person that ended up not being great. You
Right.
know, it's more of what did I not see? What was I blind to? Like, what was I not almost tricked by, but kind of?
Yeah.
Because it's not being tricked in the sense that there's something wrong with us. We're all naive. We
Just
all
what
are
didn't we
hoping
understand
for the
about it?
best.
But that's part of it, though, is it's not just about being naive in that moment. It's about learning from it, though.
Mhm.
Like, as soon as you recognize it, that's awesome. Because then instead of feeling foolish, be like, nah, I recognized it. So now if it comes up again, you won't get me.
And I think a lot of people do that. I've noticed that, like, obviously, I'm approaching my 30s and noticing patterns in people of, I've met this pattern before. You may
Yeah.
be different, but I've met this pattern, I've met this habit before.
Mm-hmm.
And I know, like, a big one for me is the drinking.
Yep.
And we talked about it the other day, just how you feel the need to drink
Right.
in certain social situations.
Yeah.
Like it's a promoted drinking thing. Everyone does it to get comfortable or whatever it may be. And it's just like, no.
Yeah.
And so that's a stop too, another big shift.
Yeah.
So there's a lot more, I guess, just so many different aspects to it.
Right. 100%. So what's the lesson in question today?
So the lesson wasn't even God's fault.
Right.
But
And the question
our
for that.
question is, this is another one of the tougher questions, I think. There are a number of days throughout the year where we take a step to look at ourselves. And like how we said before, like we recognize habits that aren't going to change. Why do we recognize certain habits and why are we blind to others?
Right.
Why are there certain things that we think are wrong within ourselves? Like I was thinking about it today, or maybe it was yesterday because I was talking to you about it. I remember if it's yesterday or today. But how, wow, I've done some sad things to people. And I just keep hearing my dad go, give yourself some grace. Like,
Yeah.
you continue to punish yourself for things you did as a child. You gotta move on. Are you continuing to do it? Because, yeah, that's a problem then. But if that everyone does, and if those people come back and go, 20 years ago, you said something mean to me, or you snapped at me, or this, like one situation, because I never was every day like bullying someone or even like
Right.
going on my way to pick on anybody in particular. The people I didn't like, I tried to avoid. Simple as that.
Yeah.
But giving yourself some grace, and I've just been trying to do that with everything,
Yeah.
that no matter where I am, so when I see the habits in others, I've really been thinking in my head first of what is it in myself that's bothering me by what they're doing? Because there's something that's bothering me that I know I do. And with the drinking, I know exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Ain't just the government. I'm putting dust bunnies up my nose to stop my train of thought. The thing that I really just dislike in people, and I don't care if you're a random person. I'm saying like repeat. If you're in my life, I don't want to be around constant. Is the obnoxiousness
Yeah.
of it.
The excuse, I was drunk, so you should forgive that action.
The obnoxiousness, and I don't think it's just that. I think it's exactly what you just said, the excuse. Using it as an excuse, but not just that. Continuing to drink when you know you're already past that. I'm kind of embarrassing myself. I'm getting a little too. And when we drink beyond that, it's just become very bothersome to me. And
Because it can be so destructive. And I think that's why it's bothersome to you.
yeah,
It's
because I
something
am
that you're like,
very destructive when it is, because I use it as
right. And to me, it kind of hurts my feelings. Not like you're hurting my feelings, but it makes my feelings, makes me sad for the person because I know what it's like to be destructive. And it's sad to see somebody else have to feel like they need to go through that. But that is also their journey.
we can't meddle in everybody's stories all the time.
Exactly.
People have to be able to walk their own story.
Mhm.
And that doesn't mean that in the greatest time of need, we abandon them, but
Mhm.
that maybe in the greatest time of need, we're a little bit farther off to see how they will take care of it. But we are there, you know? That's why it's important, like we said, in the community we were in today, Baker. Like everyone wants everyone else in the community to succeed.
Right. And they're like, "Oh, that place might open up."
Right.
Like, that's awesome. Like,
They're
they're
not
excited
going out
as a
of
business
their
owner.
way to like invest a bunch of money here and there. They're just, hey, we're all utilizing each other. If I want you to come to my place, I'm going to go to your,
Mhm.
kind of thing. And today, you know,
That's community.
taking that and realizing that when people fall, it's not just to see the spectacle of it. I mean, did humanity know that Prometheus was bound? I mean, did they know? They heard the stories of it, Loki, his wife was there. Like, there's still someone's got to be there when someone falls. Those people will eventually need help. Heracles eventually came, right? Loki's eventually freed for Ragnarok. Other people come, we learn our lessons, but when we fall, even when we get ourselves up, we're not alone for very long. And I don't think we should be. It may be a feel the sting, stand up, but I'm here when you're there.
Right.
When you've like almost reflected.
Right.
So with our reflection today, and the reason I'm saying all of this is because some days are a little bit harder than others. And today, something that we've looked up to, something magnificent, something in a lot of control, a lot of power is falling or has fallen. And we don't know what to feel about it. And the first thing I think we should do is to sit back, and the question being, what fell from grace within me?
Mm.
It's like, right, we're casting stones at glass houses. But what fell in me? And it's not just oh, I get it because here's my story. I'm thinking about what fell from grace within me. And what did I want? What did I need? What helped? What didn't? What perspective? That kind of avenue. I think we often share too much.
Right.
You kind of shared that earlier today on our drive. The mystery of things is taken away a lot of time. I may know things,
Yeah.
but the mystery, the finding out about people, that's exciting. And I want to find out what kind of person you are along the journey.
Yeah.
Are you someone that does like to share? Are you someone that doesn't? But so what fell from grace within me, I don't need to broadcast my pain to prove that I get it.
Right.
or for
Or
you to
that you
not
even had
feel
it
as
so I
bad.
can yeah,
Yeah.
like, it because here's the thing, to you, the most horrible thing that ever happened to you in your entire life that you can remember doesn't mean it is equal to the worst pain that I have had, or even a friend that you know, or the next stranger that's talking to you or watching this right now.
Mhm.
Because they could have went through things that are much worse or nowhere near the same. So that's why you, like you're saying, give people grace. And I'm just trying to reiterate what you're saying because it is so important for people to understand, I believe, is to understand that, yes, you have feelings, but so do they. And both, neither persons are more important. Your feelings are the most important to yourself.
But I think an important aspect is, and this is just what I've been feeling a lot lately, and by lately I mean the past couple of years, is sometimes I think we as humanity, at least what I would like, I don't want people to just throw their story at me.
Right.
When I'm going through something, I do want it to be about me.
Mm.
I don't need to sit here and be told for an hour how you got through it, and then you're just gonna tell me, "So just keep going."
Mhm.
Like, I wanted to talk about me, and it ended up being completely about you, and then you gave me really nothing but
That's
just
humanity.
and I think that's a problem. I think, and I agree, it may not relate, but you and I, even if we spend every day together, our emotions aren't the same. The
Mhm.
way we react to things aren't the same. So the way I react to a stubbed toe may be different than you. And it's not, "Oh, I came from a privileged life or you came from a privileged life, so you don't get it." There's a lot more that comes into it. Some people, we've talked about it, some people are detached from death.
Yeah.
They do not react to it. It's just like a stillness. Where in other people, I mean, they just cannot handle it.
Yeah.
They really have to take the time to take care of themselves, and that doesn't mean, oh, this person's been through more than this person. That's just something that's different, right? Um,
And
so,
everybody handles things differently.
so what fell from grace within me, if someone else is falling, I really need to work on, because that's why I'm saying it, I need to work on, instead of saying, "Oh, this is what I went through. This is
Mhm.
my recommendation." Again, going, "Do you want me to just listen? Do you want my guidance? Do you want my opinion? Anything first?"
Oh, man, I could definitely do the same thing. That's
And then kind of sharing that, I'm not going to share my story with you. And I think I need to say that to force myself not to.
mm,
I'm not going to share my story with you, but I can say what helped me was boom, boom, boom. Three things, legit things, not, just going to bed early.
yeah.
Every single morning, I make sure to have a drink, whatever it may be, coffee, tea, water. I make sure to do that. Giving things that I did to help rather than this is my pain.
Mhm.
Now you can evaluate whether you think I'm worthy of giving you an opinion. I'm not going to give my story anymore
Right.
because there are some stories that I've shared with people and getting to meet new people, obviously, with the Greek book,
Mhm.
talking to my mom and she's reading the Medusa story, right? We don't need to go into detail about that
Mhm.
because there are a billion scenarios you could fit into that exact thing.
Yeah.
And I thought about it. I could write my scenarios.
Mhm.
We could write scenarios of friends, family, all of these things. But why?
Right. There's
It's
no need.
whoever's story it needs to be. And guess what? It
Can be
doesn't
now.
need to be mine.
Yeah.
I can read that and go, it's not my story anymore. And I've kind of been feeling that. So I really want to start using. I'm not going to share my story unless they specifically ask,
Right.
"Hey, have you ever been through it? Have you experienced this? Would you like to hear it?" Yeah, I'll do that. But if not, I want to work on that
Mm,
because I have been a very selfish talker in a lot of conversations with people. And the closer I am with them, I think the more selfish I am because we think we can finish each other's sentences, right? Like you and I. We finish each other's sentences so often that neither of us finish a complete sentence. And so there's that little bit of, with people that
yeah, we need to hold back. And like as you were speaking, I'm like, holy cow, like what you're saying is I say the same thing of what I need to try and work on and want to work on. So it's like I feel the exact same way. Especially with what I'm transitioning to with QHHT. I have to be a good listener, and it isn't about me in that moment. So I do need to practice that way more about shutting up and listening. So
And I feel
I'm
like
glad you brought that up.
not just listening to words. You
Mm,
and I are both in two different situations. And it doesn't matter. We need to be listening to body language. We need
yeah.
to be listening to energy, to the way people react when
Hmm.
something's said, the way people respond when there's a change and all of that stuff. There's so much more than just listening to the words that people are saying. And that's why I'm saying I need to start asking people, do you just want me to listen, or is this something you're going to want? My feedback, opinion, what do you want? Because as a listener, I want to know how to listen to your story.
Right.
Because if I need to do that more in the terms of, hey, I want you to listen to my story and I just want you to be on my side. There are things that I've done that I know may not be something you agree with, or this or that. I get it. I don't want to hear it. I just need some emotional support with someone on my side. And I think that I need to be better at that because I don't do it. And the first things that happens is I get very angry very fast
Hmm.
because I'm like, oh, well, here we go again.
Hmm.
And I don't like that with him.
Right.
Here we go.
Here we go.
Bubba dish.
This is nub shakes towards you.
But I'm glad that we've talked about that because it's oftentimes we get so frustrated because we also forget to share or we don't know how to share. Right. And it starts with, where did I struggle and fall? And what did I need? What did I want? What gave me everything to help me rise? All of these things help us in all those situations. So we have, like I said, that's kind of a tougher thing today
Mm.
because, a big common theme in movies, something that falls in grace within people, the cliche of the superstar athlete that was the leader in high school and was all of this, maybe even college, all of this. And then for whatever reason, they couldn't play anymore.
Mm.
And they've lost their leadership. They're angry at the world. They've lost their purpose, their vision. They've become a bad spouse, all of this stuff. They have fallen from grace because they've attached those qualities with this.
Yeah.
When in all actuality, those qualities were there. They were just shown through that.
Right.
So what else can I show through that? How else can I gain that power? And it's hard because sometimes we lose things that are divine feminine or divine masculine. It does not feel good to be challenged in those energies. To kind of go, wow, I don't feel pretty. I don't feel like motherly. I don't feel like a man. I don't feel like a protector, whatever it may be. It sucks.
Mm.
But today we get to look at, how was I given grace by myself? And how can I give grace to others?
Yeah.
My grace, right? Not based on what I've been through or anything, just my grace that I can give to others
Mm-hmm.
based on, who they
Right.
are, not necessarily who I am, but who they are
Exactly.
too. So we're going to release something today. So we're going to release something symbolic to feel how letting go restores. Okay. So how letting go restores the balance that has been released. So as we let go of things, we kind of come back into balance. Like I said, letting go of this old identity of who we are. Sometimes letting that go makes us realize, wait, I still have these other things though.
Mm-hmm.
I still am this kind of person. You know, walking away from who I was doesn't change the fact that that's who I was.
Right.
It's okay to look back and go, yike, or to go, wow, that was an all-star moment. I really hate, and I used to use this term, and I'm going to say I hate it. I hate, because when I say it, it feels nasty when saying that someone's ever peaked. Because to say that somebody peaked is implying that they have done
They're
nothing but
done.
gotten worse
Wow.
since that time. So we say people peaked in high school, and then they're, like I
But
said,
look
I've
at how
said
many
it.
people have let themselves do that. But that's exactly what you were just describing about that person that becomes that bad spouse or something, that is the ultimate, like, they peaked, right?
But
And now they can't do
we as
anything.
a society, and I'm saying because I was one of them, we are putting that shame on them too.
Yeah, 100%.
How dare you not continue to be that all-star athlete you were in that small town
Yeah.
15 years ago? Why aren't you still there? Like, and it's like what you did as a kid, especially in a small town, when you just do the things that you do, and you may never do those things ever again. You're given
Yeah.
a great opportunity to try whatever, and it may be completely different. That's what's so exciting about going to college. You
Mhm.
can rewrite who you are.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to just be then, though. When you go into a new job, I mean, you can leave a career and become a whole new person,
Mhm.
but we got to start living. And I feel like today, I just feel really good today. Like the grace that we've gone through, I feel like you and I were talking with someone today, and I felt like you and I were both consciously working on not interrupting.
Mhm.
I could feel you go to like raise yourself to speak, and you wouldn't like hunker down, but you would stop. And there were a couple times that I did that, and I felt really like proud energetically of us. And I
Mhm.
could tell she was doing that too.
Yeah.
Because when you're excited, you want to cut off, cut off, cut it.
Yeah, yeah, and we could tell we're all wanting to say something.
Mhm.
So it's like she's one of those people that is definitely, yeah, we'll definitely
And
have to have more
the book that I
conversations.
literally looked at,
Yeah, just a
that's just wild
day
to
before
me.
is something she brought up, and then just
The first question she asked
the
about us.
synchronicities in that whole thing were just like they were all aligned.
Yeah.
From the moment that she walked up when I was like, "Man, that dress,"
Well, the
to
fact
where
that you
she
have
got our
to
book.
the
To
fact that you have to distinguish between which Gaia you're speaking of, that was something that I was like, I don't know, it's just like a nerdy little thing where you're
Yeah.
like, okay, well, let me explain which one he's talking about.
Yeah, yeah,
That was exciting
that
to
was
me,
fun.
right?
That is fun.
And she's not just never heard of that, but heard of the regression and
And
learning
wants
that
to
she's
know.
pretty much doing or trying to do that within herself. And
Mhm.
here's a QHHT practitioner that's trying to find somebody that wants to really
Do it.
push themselves, not
Yeah.
just do it, but push. She's got it locked in. She just needs that other voice. She even
To
said, I
guide her
felt
into
like
it.
I had more I needed to learn.
And what if
She
I'm the
doesn't
next
need
to lead her
to learn.
to no,
She's a
yeah,
guide.
to guide to what she needed from the other side, because she can get all of it, and then
Mhm.
she'll have that recording of what she needs.
Well, and then you would, that's why I said you'd be able to ask like names
D
and stuff if she
Yeah,
wanted to. It's just
whatever
cool.
yeah, whatever she needed, yeah.
But the final thought with all of that is that we're going to accept loss as a necessary correction rather than a failure. So we're going to accept loss as a necessary correction rather than a failure. If I was still teaching, I would have never met James. I wouldn't have been able to do that.
Yeah,
They would have
no.
told me no.
Mhm.
We can't give you that time. It was just interesting that loss, you know, and there were a couple things that have come up that I said, hey, I found this letter where this was mentioned. And I saw it the other day and I was like, I could get really mad right now. I even thought about it. I could message, this guy and say, hey, just so you know, you guys are still doing this. I could do this, I could blow this up. And then I just thought, I knew before I saw this letter that I didn't like the energy in that office. I already took my money out, pulled out completely. And 3 months later, I see this letter that I hadn't seen before. And I'm like, wow, it was just that confirmation, like you've said before. And what's funny is that I saw both of those people on my friend list. And I left one. I think I deleted the other, but I left one, and it was when we went to that dinner with. Because I was like, you know what? Every interaction I've had with her, I've liked. I don't feel like there's been anything fake. She might have an opinion of me. I don't think that makes her fake because
Mhm.
we're not friends. We've interacted. They've been good interactions. I've liked the way I felt when I've been around her, and I hope that she's felt the same. So I thought I'd leave it.
Mm.
The other one I didn't have a connection with, and it was really hard because there were some that I was like, okay, I did like this person from school. I just kind of want to keep in touch to see how they're doing.
Mhm.
So I just went through my first meeting, and there'll be more, and then eventually I do want to
I
get rid
wanna
of
do
it.
it, like, I was thinking about it, and maybe I'll do it after we do this, because just why not? Like, I'm truly, like, after the move and everything, I truly wanna get rid of pretty much everything that used to be attached to old energy. I truly don't want to keep anything. I would love to just
Okay,
refresh everything.
redirect it though, because
Right.
I'm thinking like you, and I'm thinking like you right now, and connect it to old energy that has nowhere forward to go.
For me,
Because
it
yes,
could be for somebody else though.
but there's failed energies that have led us to other strings where that was necessary. That lesson was
1
necessary.
million
We're carrying.
percent.
So I just like what you're
Yes.
saying, and I just say this for people because there was so much, and I could be wrong.
Every
Some people
failure is a
could
redirection.
well, some people could do this and be like, you don't know what you're talking about. But there have been so many times where I watch stuff and I'm like, oh, I get what they're saying. I get what they're saying. And they didn't explain it. And there were some things that could have gone in a number of directions, and they should sometimes, but some that shouldn't have. That I interpreted in a negative way because I wanted to be in that negative mindset.
Right.
And so that's just why I was clarifying. To
Mhm.
leave old energy doesn't mean you leave the old energy that still serves a purpose.
Right.
We're saying the energy that's no longer moving forward with us. We can say, like, thank you. I appreciate what you've
No,
done.
I'm 1,000,000% with that. Obviously, you know who I am, and I appreciate you trying to make sure that someone that doesn't know me 1,000,000%. So thank you for saying that, because I am 1 bajillion% the type of person where if this energy doesn't serve me, it goes. And that's a big piece of what I do with the QHHT. Like whatever energy, it's one of the meditations that I actually do. One of the meditations is whatever energy is not in the person flows out of them, and anybody else can use it. Because it doesn't mean if you have a quote unquote negative energy come out of you, that energy is just energy. That could mean a positive thing for somebody else. Because a negative thing for you, or a thing that you see as a negative thing, was all it is a redirection to get you to where you need to be to do the next best thing for you and your soul.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much what you were saying, right? Is from what I was hearing, if I'm just
Yeah,
reiterating
no,
it.
100%.
So yeah, no, and that's who and how I am. I love to live like that. Live in the moment, live in the flow, be like, the water. So many people, they like to, when I talk to them, they're like, be like water. And they're like joking about it, but man, is it so true. Because that's why water is like a snake, and because it's just back
Well,
and
there's
forth
a
moving around
reason.
things.
There's a reason we have all the elements within us, right? And it's because
Mhm.
they all serve their purpose.
Yeah.
There's a time to burn, there's a time to flow, there's a time to stand firm, there's all these different situations. But yeah, I like that to kind of be
Mhm.
like a water more, like
Yes.
to embody that a lot. And we kind of get to see that a little bit more as we move forward this week. We've had a lot of chaos and a few like tougher days, but tomorrow we get to see some of the dualities. So, like I said, that yin and yang comes in
Mhm.
tomorrow, but the yin and yang from 4 cultures, right? So, we get to experience that. We get to see why these dualities circle each other, right? Because
Mhm.
they aren't fleeing each other, right? The magnets, they aren't pushing away when they're opposite, they're attracting. They want each other, they require each other, right? That doesn't mean that, good omens, a devil and an angel are going to get
Right.
together,
Yeah.
right? But that really is a great aspect of it. That devil that had the moral compass that put him there, he was willing to fall for it.
Yeah.
And the other one that knew you kind of have to have a little bit of mischief to
Mhm.
get things done, though.
Yeah.
You just have to have someone passionate enough to push it
Right.
and someone to almost pull them back, that constant exchange. So
That's
we
that
get,
yin yang,
yeah, we get
That's
that tomorrow. And some of these deities, they are the yin yang to others. We'll get to see them a little bit later on with some other things. But unfortunately for now, they're bound, they're tied up, they're suffering their consequence, they're being humbled in a number of ways. But they're still those people we love. It's
Yeah.
still the person that gave us knowledge. It's still Loki, the trickster, who how many people like literally have a tattoo of Loki on them,
Right.
right?
So many people associate with
And
it.
it's like, yeah, it's not the superhero Loki, but there are some things they got right. There are a
Yeah.
number of things they got right with the personality, and I think he did a great job of it. So people fall. We as a society don't need to literally pick them up, but I do think it is our job to be more positive than we
For
are
sure.
condemning. And that's a lot easier said than done on a lot of situations, but
Yeah.
we're all working on it.
Yep.
But with that, That's all I have for you guys today. Mark has a crush on me, so he just told me.
Oops.
Busted.
Boost the Norfolk is okay.
All right. Anyways, we're gonna go write some more on our book, and you were gonna go do something too, right?
Yep.
I forgot what you said you were gonna do.
I'm gonna do people things.
People.
Wow. Are you doing sign language with that?
It was our secret pinky handshake.
Oh, that was good.
It's the one so secret you don't even know about it.
It's so secret it broke my pinky.
Oops.
Now I don't even have a pinky. Oh wait, there it is. Oh, thank goodness.
All right. Well, we'll see you guys tomorrow.
Ta-ta.
Ta-ta for now.
Love you guys. See ya.
Before we begin, I want to take a moment to honor the cultures behind the stories we are about to explore. The tales shared here come from many peoples, lands, and traditions. I do not change these stories to fit modern expectations or to align with today's social standards. Instead, I present them as they were told, sometimes beautiful, sometimes harsh, sometimes challenging. We are not here to judge the past, but to understand it, to listen, to learn, and to honor the ancestors who carried these stories forward. We also share stories from various religious traditions. These are presented in their historical and spiritual context, with respect for their beliefs that they represent. Every culture deserves respect, context, and acknowledgement, and this space is dedicated to doing exactly that. Story 1: Prometheus Bound. When the age of the Titans came to its end, and Zeus claimed the throne of Olympus, a new order settled over the gods and mortals alike. Among the ancient race who had survived the Great War stood Prometheus, whose name means forethought. Wise beyond nearly all others, Prometheus looked upon humankind with compassion. In the earliest days, people wandered the earth vulnerable to cold, darkness, hunger, and fear, possessing neither the warmth of fire nor the knowledge needed to shape the world around them. Fire belonged only to the gods, carefully guarded upon Olympus, for within its flame lived not merely warmth, but craft, invention, metalworking, cooking, and the spark from which civilization itself could grow. Unable to watch humanity struggle, Prometheus resolved to do what no other mortal dared. Concealing a glowing ember within the hollow stalk of a giant fennel plant, he carried the sacred fire from Olympus down to earth and placed it into human hands. From that single flame came furnaces, hearths, poetry, forged bronze, baked bread, light against the night, and the countless skills through which cities would one day rise. Yet Zeus saw what had been done. The gift had forever changed the relationship between gods and mortals, and the king of Olympus decreed that such defiance could not go unanswered. Prometheus was seized by Kratos, the embodiment of strength, and Bia, the embodiment of force, while the divine smith, Hephaestus, though reluctant, was commanded to forge unbreakable chains. Upon a lonely cliff in the distant Caucasus Mountains, Prometheus was bound to the living stone, unable to move beneath the endless sky. There he remained through passing seasons and centuries without number. Each day a mighty eagle, sent by Zeus, descended upon the mountain and tore into the Titan's liver. Because Prometheus was immortal, the wound healed with every returning night, only for the torment to begin again when dawn broke across the peaks. Wind, snow, rain, blazing sun, and countless generations passed before his unwavering gaze. Empires rose and disappeared beyond the horizon, while the fire he had given humanity continued to burn in every hearth. Though he suffered without measure, Prometheus never repented the gift he had given. In later traditions, the hero Heracles would one day pass through the mountains during his own labors, slay the eagle, and with Zeus's consent, bring an end to the Titan's long imprisonment. Yet it was the centuries before that liberation that remained etched into Greek memory. Prometheus became the immortal who accepted endless pain so that humanity might possess knowledge, creativity, and the light of civilization. His change became not only a symbol of punishment, but of steadfast endurance, reminding generations that some gifts are considered so valuable that even eternal suffering cannot diminish their worth. Story 2, Loki bound beneath the earth. Among the gods of Asgard, none possessed a mind more restless than Loki. Born of the giants yet accepted among the Aesir, he was a shapeshifter, a clever speaker, and the source of both remarkable gifts and devastating calamities. Time and again, his cunning rescued the gods from dangers that seemed impossible to overcome. Yet that same cunning also drew them into ever greater peril. Through his strange unions came extraordinary children. Fenrir, the great wolf destined to break his chains at Ragnarok. Jormungandr, the world serpent who encircled Midgard beneath the sea. And Hel, sovereign of the realm of the dead. As the years passed, the prophecies surrounding Loki's children grew darker, and the shadow of fate settled over Asgard. When the beloved god, Baldur, was slain through Loki's deception, the patience of the gods finally came to an end. Loki fled across the mountains and rivers, changing his form to escape those who pursued him. But the gods eventually captured him and brought him to a lonely cavern deep beneath the earth. There, his punishment became unlike any other remembered in Norse tradition. His sons, Narfi and Vali, were brought before the assembled gods. Through divine power, Vali was transformed into a ravening wolf, and in his uncontrollable fury, he turned upon his own brother, killing Narfi. From Narfi's entrails, the gods fashioned terrible bonds, laying them across Loki's shoulders, chest, and legs before fastening him to 3 great stones. The living cords hardened until they became as strong as iron, binding the trickster with the remains of his own children. Above him, the giantess, Skathi, suspended a venomous serpent so that its poison dripped continuously onto Loki's face. Beside him remained his faithful wife, Sigyn, carrying a simple bowl. Patiently, she caught the falling venom before it could strike him, sparing him from its agony for as long as the vessel remained empty. Yet whenever the bowl filled, Sigyn was forced to turn away for only a moment to empty it. In those brief instants, the serpent's poison fell upon Loki, and his pain was so violent that his whole body convulsed against the stone. The earth itself shook beneath his struggle, and the people of the north said that these terrible movements were the earthquakes felt across the world. So Loki remained through passing ages, neither forgotten nor destroyed, but enduring beneath the earth until the day foretold by prophecy. At Ragnarok, the bonds fashioned from Narfi's entrails would finally break, and the bound god would once again walk beneath the open sky. Until that appointed hour, however, the Norse remembered him not as the laughing trickster of earlier tales, but as a god who lay in darkness, held fast by the consequences of his own deeds, while beside him, Sigyn continued her quiet act of devotion, catching the serpent's venom 1 drop at a time. Story 3, 7 Macaw who claimed the sky. Before the present world had fully taken shape, and before the true sun and moon rose into the heavens, there lived a magnificent being called 7 Macaw, or Vukub Kakash. His body glittered with extraordinary splendor, his eyes shone like polished jade, his teeth gleamed with precious stones, and his feathers sparkled with gold, silver, emerald, and turquoise, until he seemed brighter than the dawn itself. Perched high within the branches of an immense fruit tree, 7 Macaw gazed across the unfinished world and declared that no greater light existed than himself. "I am the sun," he proclaimed. "I am the moon. I am the light of all who walk the earth." In those early days when the heavens had not yet found their proper order, many believed his boast. His dazzling beauty was so overwhelming that it seemed impossible to imagine a greater radiance beyond him. Yet his brilliance was only an appearance. He had adorned himself with jewels and precious stones until he resembled the heavenly lights, mistaking borrowed splendor for true greatness. The creator deities knew that the ordered world could not come into being while false glory occupied the place reserved for the celestial lights. They called upon the hero twins, Hunapu and Spalunke, whose destiny was to prepare creation for the age that was to come. The brothers approached Seven Macaw while he fed among the branches, and Hunahpu struck him with the blowgun, shattering his jeweled jaw. Though wounded, Seven Macaw escaped, carrying the broken brilliance of his face back to his home. Knowing that strength alone would not complete the task, the hero twins disguised themselves as humble healers and visited the proud being, offering to restore his injuries. Trusting their words, Seven Macaw allowed them to work. Yet instead of replacing his glittering teeth with precious stones, they removed them entirely and gave him ordinary white kernels of maize. They took away the jewels from his eyes and stripped him of the ornaments that made him appear radiant. One by one, the dazzling treasures disappeared until the false splendor upon which his pride had rested was gone. Without his jeweled brilliance, Seven Macaw's strength faded. The glory he believed made him ruler of the heavens vanished, revealing that his greatness had never come from the ornaments he wore. Thus, his claim to be the sun and moon came to an end. Only after his fall could the true celestial lights take their rightful places within the ordered cosmos. The Maya remembered that creation required more than brilliance. It required harmony, truth, and each thing occupying its proper place. Seven Macaw remained a powerful being, but no longer the false light that had claimed dominion over the unfinished world. His story became a reminder that even the brightest display cannot replace the genuine light destined to rise. Story 4. Indra and the Garland of Fortune. Among the Devas, none shone more brightly than Indra, king of the heavens, lord of storms, wielder of Vajra, and guardian of the celestial realm known as Varga. From his jeweled city of Amaravati, he ruled over the rains, protected the ordered world from chaos, and was honored by gods, sages, and mortals alike. His white elephant, Airavata, carried him with majestic strength, while prosperity and divine fortune filled the heavenly kingdom. Yet there came a day when the wandering sage, Durvasa, whose blessings were as powerful as his anger, encountered Indra and presented him with a magnificent garland filled with the fragrance and grace of Lakshmi, goddess of fortune and abundance. It was no ordinary wealth of flowers. It carried sacred blessing, prosperity, and divine favor. Durvasa offered it as a gift worthy of reverence, but Indra, intoxicated by his own greatness, accepted it carelessly. Rather than placing the garland upon himself with gratitude or honoring its sacred nature, he laid it upon Airavata's head. The great elephant, disturbed by its fragrance, cast the garland to the ground and trampled it beneath his feet. Durvasa watched in silence before his anger arose like a storm. The sage declared that Indra's pride had caused him to despise the very blessing that sustained his kingdom. Fortune would no longer remain where it was no longer honored. With those words, he pronounced a curse, and the splendor of the gods began to fade. The brilliance of Amaravati dimmed, the strength of the Devas diminished. Crops, vitality, and prosperity withered throughout the three worlds as Lakshmi withdrew her favor. Watching the gods weakened, the Asuras rose against them, and the once mighty rulers of heaven found themselves unable to defend the realm they had long governed. Their glory had not been stolen in battle. It had quietly departed the moment gratitude gave way to arrogance. Realizing the depth of his mistake, Indra sought the counsel of Vishnu, who instructed the gods to make peace with the Asuras for a time and work together to churn the ocean of milk in search of Amrita, the nectar of immortality. As the great mountain, Mandara, turned upon the back of the cosmic turtle, Kurma, the serpent, the Suki, served as the churning rope. Many wonders emerged from the depths. Among them rose Lakshmi herself, radiant once more, restoring blessing and abundance to the heavens. Strength returned to the gods, prosperity flourished again, and Indra reclaimed his throne, now understanding that kingship endured not through power alone, but through reverence for the gifts upon which all power descends. Thus, the King of Heaven fell not because another god proved stronger, but because pride caused him to forget the sacredness of what had already been placed into his hands. Daily Thread for July 18th. The oldest stories did not imagine the gods as beings forever untouched by sorrow. Instead, they remembered that even the mightiest could be humbled, bound, wounded, or stripped of the very glory they once possessed. Upon the lonely cliffs of the Caucasus, Prometheus remained chained through uncounted centuries because he chose to place fire into human hands, enduring endless suffering so that civilization might continue to burn. Deep beneath the earth, Loki lay bound by the hardened entrails of his own son, while a serpent's venom fell from above. His faithful wife, Sigyn, quietly lifting her bowl again and again as the ages passed. Before the true sun and moon arose over the Maya world, 7 Macaw glittered with jewels and proclaimed himself the light of creation, only to discover that borrowed splendor could never take the place of genuine radiance. And in the heavens of India, Indra, king of the gods, watched prosperity slip quietly from his kingdom after pride caused him to dishonor a sacred blessing, learning that even the greatest throne cannot remain secure when gratitude is forgotten. Though these stories come from different civilizations, none portray power as permanent. Fire bearers can be changed, tricksters can become prisoners, false glory can fade, kings can lose the very fortune that crowned them. Yet none of these stories end with emptiness alone. Prometheus's fire continues to warm humanity long after his chains are fastened. Sigyn's unwavering devotion shines quietly within the darkness of Loki's punishment. The true sun and moon finally rise once illusion has fallen away. Lakshmi returns to the heavens when humility is restored, bringing abundance back with her. The oldest storytellers understood that falling is rarely the final chapter. Sometimes what is stripped away is the very thing preventing something truer from remaining. As tonight's fire settles into glowing embers, consider this. What, in my own life, was needed to fall away? Have there been moments when suffering revealed endurance, when pride gave way to humility, when appearances yielded to truth, or when loss uncovered a deeper kind of faithfulness? The ancient myths remind us that even the divine pass through seasons of breaking. And yet the fire still burns, the bowl is still lifted, the true light still rises, and blessings can return to the one who has learned to receive it with open hands.